Hello everyone. So, welcome to another Chasing Neat episode. In this episode, we're going to be telling you what our favorite top 5 of 2022 are.
22. Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's so many that we purchased this year.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's narrow it down to like 5. Or 5.
Get a little comfy here.
Get comfy.
Yes.
Relax. Okay. Yep. So, this year, 2022, I feel like that was the year we were able to get back out and about after the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, pandemic is ever going, I guess, not the pandemic, but I guess the COVID stuff could potentially always be around. So people were definitely out and about this year, and that included distilleries and liquor stores and things like that. So we took a lot of long weekends with some friends and sometimes with ourselves as well. And a lot of times we've also individually went shopping unsupervised.
Once or twice.
Brought some things home. So, I don't know, we thought it'd be kind of fun to just do kind of what we thought were some of our top 5 picks. Maybe not necessarily our most favorite of the year, but definitely some of the ones I think we decided to pick for you guys and share with you what we liked this year. We think you can also get at your local liquor stores fairly decently, you know. So
things that you can actually obtain that aren't on allocation.
Yeah. And we're located in northern Indiana, South Bend, Indiana, near Notre Dame. An hour and a half east of Chicago, a couple hours north of Indy. So we really didn't go too far. We went south Kentucky a couple times, Detroit area, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yeah. So anyway, we got about 5 bourbons. Not necessarily bourbons. I got a couple whiskeys in my top 5.
You do?
Yep. So anyway, I think we'll just get at it and start with. You want to go first? What?
Sure.
It's not necessarily any particular order, right? Or
nope,
just okay.
No order.
Okay, cool.
And I'm just going to bring this over so I can see my notes.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one, so we shop at Costco quite often, and
every Thursday.
They'll have, because we get gas there on Thursdays in the morning when no one's there, and then I just go in and get supplies. But once in a while they'll have an interesting selection of bourbons or whiskeys, and I saw this one on the shelf primarily because it was purple, which is my favorite color. But this one is the 18th Street Distillery, and this particular bottle is the Spirit Thief Selection Single Barrel. It is 124 proof, and it's a 4-year-old straight bourbon whiskey. So if you can see that, and this one is made in Hammond, Indiana, and at one time Hammond, Indiana actually had the second largest distillery before Prohibition, and then when Prohibition came, pretty much all of them left, and so
in Indiana or just overall.
In the nation.
What? Wow.
And so now the 18th Street Distillery is a artisan craft distillery, and they got their roots started in beer brewing. So their biggest portion of their business is beer, and now they're moving into distilling. And we've got a couple different selections from them. I think of the 3, one I don't like too much. This one I really like, and the other one is pretty good. So all in all, I think they're doing fairly well.
Yeah, and we've obviously you said you got it at Costco, but we have seen it at our local liquor stores. I mean, Northern Indiana, I think it's kind of bound to happen that we're going to get it too.
Yeah.
But we were down in Kentucky and we saw it down there. So, but I think it'll be fun to chase it. And did you remember what you paid for it?
I think it was like $42. It wasn't very, very expensive.
Nice.
Which I thought was another reason why I got it.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's on your list.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to pick is one called Blue Run. Dun dun dun. Boom boom boom. There you go. I'm getting it focus. This particular one is 95 proof. It's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. And let's see. So the story behind the Blue Run for us is we actually, Mike and I actually have a photography business, and we had a wedding client that brought us a bottle of Blue Run because it specifically had the butterfly on it. The bride loves butterflies. Yeah.
Cute little butterfly.
Yeah. Very cool.
See if I get the reflection.
Yeah. So, but what we liked about Blue Run when we actually we were eyeing it anyway, and it just so happened that one of our, like I said, our wedding couple brought us a bottle of it, but we really like it because we are big fans of the master distiller Jim Rutledge, bourbon icon. I guess he's been in the industry for 50 years.
Yep.
I think he was with Four Roses for about 45-ish years, or maybe longer. And Four Roses.
He was the one credited with bringing Four Roses bourbon back to American consumers. They made it here, but shipped it to Japan, where it was very popular there. And then the Jim said, "Hey, my employees can't drink what they're making, or buy what they're making."
Yeah.
So they created a blend for here, and he's done very well with it.
Yeah. And previously, we also are big fans of Cream of Kentucky, which he actually has a distillery, distributorship, and blending, and whatever. J.W. Rutledge.
He produces it.
Yeah. So I don't know how all that stuff works. I mean, we
contract distills those things.
Yeah. So he's got the Cream of Kentucky. He's got the Blue Run. Of course, he's also involved with.
Castle and Key.
Yeah, Castle and Key. Oh, that's right. So that's where they're doing the Blue Run right now, out of contracting out with Castle and Key, which is one of our other favorite distilleries. But besides all that, when we tried the Blue Run bourbon, it was very good, and like I said, at 95 proof. There's a bunch of different varieties of it. As you find different varieties. I shouldn't say varieties. Is it really kind of like small batch, straight, things like that? It's not really a variety.
I just say brands.
A brand, I don't know. But anyway, a style,
Labels.
whatever. But there's several of the Blue Runs, and you can see this pretty readily. You can get this pretty much everywhere we run into liquor stores. You can get it. It runs about $90,
Yeah.
So, but definitely one of them on my list. So that was a little long-winded. Oops.
Now the added feature, the other thing is, what was it? They are now opening up their own distilling, and to the tune of something like 13 million or something. It's a big push.
Yeah. So yep.
All right, moving on to
Number
my
two for you.
This is a relatively new one. We stopped at a liquor store, a local liquor store, and I asked him, "Hey, what's new?" And he took out his receipt because he had just gotten his stock in that day. He said, "Well, the only thing I got are in those boxes." So he pulled one out, and it was this. And then he says, "I got another one here, though." And so he pulled up another box. So there were two varieties of the two that we tried. We liked this one the best. This is by a distillery called Dueling Grounds, and it's in
Franklin, Kentucky.
Yeah, Franklin, Kentucky. And it's called Dueling Grounds Distilling because it's in an area that they used to have a lot of duels. And that's what they were famous for that area. I don't know why, but everyone wanted to shoot each other there. Kind of like Gary.
I bet there's probably some historical significance to that if we dug a little deeper.
Yeah.
Let's just go to this place and duel.
All right. Now the name of this is Linkumpinch. And it's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 4 years. And if you can see the label. And I love this little metal medallion.
Yep. Cool beans.
And it's double pot stilled. So I remember when we tasted it, had a lot of flavor and had a fairly good complexity throughout the finish, which is again one of the things that a pot still will give you or can give you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to describe my top 5 like, oh, it tastes like this, it tastes like that, but it's just a fact. I like these for various different reasons, but more so reminiscing about 2022. It's like when we got these, that kind of came into play for me when I picked the different ones that I liked. My number 2, I follow, again, with being photographers, we actually follow several other photographers and vice versa. And one of our favorite photographers, Craig Lemire, great guy. He's out in Idaho.
Yes, Idaho.
Idaho. Yeah. Anyway, he had this particular.
Craig, if we got it wrong, put in the comments where you actually are from.
Anyway, but I first saw on his social media and what he was drinking. I thought I gotta get that because I keep seeing this one, and a lot of people recommended it. Of course, he drank it, so I thought I gotta be like Craig. So, but anyway, this particular one is Barrell Seagrass. Whoops. Back up. Focus. Being a photographer, we should know how to do that. There we go. My assistant helped me out. Barrell Seagrass. Okay, so this was it's not actually a bourbon. It is cask strength, which is right up my alley because I like cask strength, barrel strength, and it's 118.22 proof. It's a rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. Man, this smells good and it tastes just yummy. Good. I like a lot of these barrel bourbons.
I forgot to tell you, this one was 119.5 proof, and it was around $40 to $50.
Oh my goodness. Back to me. Anyway, there's a lot of these barrel blends. I mean, you guys definitely should try some of the barrel. I think it's actually technically barrel spirits. Barrel craft spirits are who blends these different barrel products. It's kind of a tongue twister, I think. But anyway, very good. And what I also like about the Seagrass is when we went down to Kentucky with our friends in, I think, early spring, we couldn't get into any of the distilleries because you have to book those tours early because they get so booked out. But anyway, we missed that and we didn't really care because we were totally going to go that weekend. We were just totally going to be bourbon hunting at liquor stores anyway. So the funny thing about this particular one, again, I hadn't seen this one, and when I got this one, where I got this one was at a Kroger's of all places
We like Kroger's, especially in Kentucky.
Yeah. So the Kroger's in Kentucky, awesome. So I saw this guy, snagged it up, and I paid, I think, $84.99. But it was fantastic. Fantastic fun find. Thank you, Craig Lemire, for the suggestion. I love it. And that's my number 2.
All right, so I'll grab my number 3.
Number 3.
This is a bottled and bond from a company, distillery called Watershed Distillery. And this is a 4-year bourbon. And it's from, looks like that.
Yeah.
And they are located in Columbus, Ohio. They started in 2010, and they do all of their distilling and bottling and aging on site. And they make a couple of different varieties, labels, and they also teamed up with Marianne Eaves for one of her special releases that we really liked. But again, this is something that's got some flavor, some character, some
heat,
and
what's the proof on that?
Bottle and bond, so it's 100.
Oh yeah, you said bottle and bond.
I'm thinking this was like 50.
I would say 50, 60, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure we actually got that at Watershed. So we have a fun little liquor store that we go to in Michigan because we're just like hop, skip, and a jump from them. And it's been fun when we go to this particular liquor store called State Line Liquors. Sometimes we just kind of, this is what we've always done Mike and I've always done for just on our bourbon collection, which we didn't think years ago that we were ever going to have such a collection. But we'd go to the liquor store and just find something that seems kind of interesting and just try it. Now if we try things, well, maybe we'll spend a little more on the try. But we found this Watershed there. I don't know if I think it was this one. And then we took a long weekend down to Columbus, Ohio. Went to the distillery. Loved their stuff. Loved the tours. And we actually happened to run across a special, like Mike mentioned, Marianne Eaves worked with 8 different distilleries. Yeah.
It was part of her Eve's Blind tasting program.
Yeah, which we have a video about that someday. But anyway, Marianne Eaves, if you guys don't know who she was the first female master distiller. And she was kind of geared to take over as a master distillery. master distiller at Woodford, and she ultimately moved over and was working with the folks at Castle and Key. We've been a huge fan ever since that. But anyway.
Then she ran off with a circus.
Anyway, you always say that.
She did.
So anyway,
you're the ringmaster.
That's your number 3, and I highly recommend it. But it's
all right.
Number 3.
No, 4.
No, 3. I didn't do my number 3. My number 3 is next.
Oh, okay.
All right. Number 3 from me. Okay. My number 3. So when I picked my number 3, well, I picked my number 3. The memory from 2022 is when we were down in Indianapolis for Mike's birthday weekend. Because we have such a vast collection, when we go out to dinners or whatever, whether it be a bar or some kind of restaurant or whatever, we always try to something that we don't already have, and sometimes a little bit more on the expensive side, just because you're like, if I'm going to drop any kind of real money on what you think you might like, I'd rather spend like $20, $30, $40 on a dram, see if you even really like it. So fortunately, but unfortunately, that's what happened to me when I tried this next one, and we don't have it. We have a couple of different of these in our collection, but none of these. But as a result of that tasting that we had at the restaurant, or what tasting, I just ordered it as a drink or whatever, and it was really yummy. So now we're on the hunt for chasing all these. So for number 3, it's Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series. So this particular one is number 8, and of course that means there's 7 more in front of it.
Yep.
So
and they're all yummy.
It's a little pricey, but this one, I really like this. So the proof on this is 114.1 proof. The great thing about this particular, about Bardstown, is this one happens to be a blended whiskey. It's blended whiskey because it's not just bourbon. In this particular case, it has, let's see, what's nice about that, they give you kind of what it is. I'm not going to go into exact percentages, but they have whiskey blended from Kentucky, Indiana, Ontario, and another Indiana. So our Indiana rye and Indiana corn one. So it's just, the way they blend it, it's just so delicious. Costco usually has, Bardstown has several different series, shall we say. And the one that we get at Costco pretty regularly is the Fusion, which is the blue label, which is good, but this is much gooder.
Yes.
Much gooder.
More
gooder, yeah. So I definitely highly recommend that if you can find that. So I'm anxiously waiting for Bardstown number 9, because, once you get on that number kick, you got to have them all. So anyway, Bardstown Bourbon Company, definitely, I think that's about... I think we usually pay about $129 for a Bardstown Discovery, and I would say for a Fusion series it's about $70 or $80. Wouldn't you say? Yeah. They have a couple others that I haven't really. I've tried. I want to say, like, is it New Founders or Founders, which is a brewery somewhat near us. I think it is. Actually, it might be in Holland. Some kind of flavor partnership with them and whatnot. So there's a couple other flavors or series, I should say, that Bardstown Bourbon Company is actually doing. But definitely number 3 for me, Bardstown Discovery Series. Pick it up.
Good
it's
stuff.
Worth it. Number 3.
All right, on to my number 4.
Yeah.
So now this one is by a distillery called, it's called Prohibition Craft Spirits, or PCS for short, and they make a product called NuLu, and this one happens to be their toasted batch. It's 120.6 proof, so it looks like that, and reading my notes here, says right now they are a startup distillery. They started in 2016, so they're still waiting for their distillate to mature. So while they're waiting for that to happen so they can barrel their own, they're purchasing MGP stock and basically bottling that. So these are MGP, but they're finished in this case, a toasted barrel. They have some other other varieties that are finished in different, like wine cask, things of that nature. But this is one of the first ones that we got, and liked it a lot.
Michigan only release.
Yeah, this one has a little sticker on it, says Michigan only. And we found ones that were Indiana only. I don't know if they're in Ohio only, but because we're so close to the state line in Michigan, we tend to find a lot of Michigan releases.
Yep.
But
Yep. And price point on that is around 90-ish.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, depending on what state you get it in.
Yeah, I think we just saw one at a liquor store for the Indiana release was like 94 something like that. Yeah. So, but every time we see it, but again, being MGP, what do we always say? A lot of good whiskey.
A lot of good whiskeys.
Kentucky whiskers.
Kentucky, or in this case, Columbus. Or not Columbus.
That was not Columbus. That one's Michigan.
Yeah. Well, no, they.
Anyway, we say a lot of good Kentucky whiskey sometimes or oftentimes begins in Indiana. MGP.
They're actually in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
But a lot of good Kentucky whiskey starts in Indiana.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say. We're trying to muddle through that, and anyway. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's see. My number 4 pick was a huge surprise to me. We often have our friends come over, and we just kind of randomly bring some drinks out, and we have to try different things. So one night, I think we had like 6, 7, 8 different bottles.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. So we were all getting very teeny tiny little pours, but enough that we were like, okay, this is interesting. So, anyways, this particular bottle is a bottled and bond bourbon whiskey. It's Early Times. When Mike brought this home, I was like, or we started talking about early in the year, I was like, what is this Early Times? Are you kidding me? I've seen Early Times, lower shelves, blah, 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 I mean, it's not the same. It's not the blue label. It's the normal brown, beige, whatever. You still see the bottle or the Early Times in the stores.
Yeah, the yellow label.
Yeah, and I was like, what in the heck is the difference between this? But anyway, turns out, this was a Brown Forman product. So if you follow, if you guys follow like what company makes what bourbons and whatnot, you guys all know who Brown Forman is. I mean, another Brown Forman owns Michter's, things like that.
They're big.
So.
Big distillery, not distillery, but big distillery owner.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but this Early Times, it's been around for years. And then they stopped making the bottled and bond Early Times like in the 80s, and they just pretty much resurrected that. I can't remember. I didn't write the notes down, but they resurrected it in. I want to say. It doesn't matter. They resurrected it, brought the bottled and bond product back. Actually, they sold Early Times then in 2021. That brand was sold to Sazerac, which is another distillery owning company.
Yep.
And they are actually now going to start making that Early Times
At Barton's.
Barton's, which is also Barton's, who was 1792. Yeah. So, man, that was rough getting through all that. But bottom line, bottled and bond Early Times is by far like one of the best surprises and the best surprise on our pocketbook. It's like $30 if you can find it. It's hard for us to find it in northern Indiana.
And it's a liter bottle too.
Yeah. So brings us to your number 4.
5.
Oh, you're on 5. That's right. You went first.
My number 5 is Early Times as well. One distinction is that the Brown Forman is a black top, and the Sazerac New is blue top. So if you talk to different people, they taste different. If you talk to other people, it's the same juice, just bottled someplace else, and that's why they've slightly changed the bottle design. It's slightly changed etchings and stuff, but yeah, it definitely hits my my sweet spot because it is sweet, and that's what I like about it.
And the pocketbook.
And the pocketbook. for $26 for
Yeah.
a liter, you can't beat it. I mean, as long as Sazerac doesn't screw it up, they should be able to promote it, and
Yeah.
as long as Fred Minnick stops saying it's so wonderful that we can still find it, because it's hard to find in our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
We actually have to have our friend go to about an hour
closer to Chicago.
closer to Chicago to find
Yeah.
it. He can
Yeah.
find it in cases, and so we always say, bring us back a bottle when we get low. But that's definitely an everyday drinker, and that's good and affordable.
And I think it's a great starter bourbon in the bottled and bond world.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because it does not drink hot like 100 proof does. So.
But it holds up on ice, so if you want to put it in a mixed drink, not so much a mixed drink, but if you want to put it over ice, you want to put it in an old fashioned, it'll definitely hold up. If you want to put it in bourbon and Coke, that's fine too. Have it any way you want.
Did we say it's cheap?
And it's inexpensive.
It is cheap. Yeah. And you can find it. Okay. All right. So I have a number 5, and this one. Where did I first get introduced to this? I'm trying to think.
Which one? I'm
trying to think. Is that something we try with our neighbors?
From the Bourbon crew?
I don't remember. But anyway, so over the summer we tried it, and it's another MGP product that a company out of Las Vegas, Nevada called, let's see, what it was called. It's, H&C Distilling Company. But anyway, Nevada H&C Distilling Company. And this is Smoke Wagon. Very cool. Look, you see how cool that bottle was, you guys? Like, it's just, you can just feel the texture on it. And you got this little medallion right here. Yeah, I'm kind of swayed by bottle look.
Okay.
I love the looks of a cool bottle. And this one kind of also reminds me a little bit of what Mike just showed you with the Linkumpinch, however you say it.
Linkumpinch.
Linkumpinch, yeah. So, yeah, cool. But anyway,
Mike's got a cuter top.
Yours is cuter top. That's all right, but this is cute. This is really good. This is let's see what's the proof on this. It's 113.2 proof. This one happens to be a straight bourbon whiskey. I think we got our first bottle. It might have been in Illinois, or maybe we tried our friends.
I think we tried theirs,
Anyway,
and then you bought it.
Then I bought it, so I got crazy over the summer. I was like, I gotta try all these different things. And but anyway, you can actually buy this off their website. I mean, they will ship it to you if you haven't live in a state where you can actually get that shipped. Yeah. But this is yummy, and the videos on that this guy, the master distiller, does for the business. I forget his last name, but I believe his first name is Aaron.
Could be.
I didn't write it down, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just really yummy, and so that's my number 5.
Yep. All right, so that does it for our top 5 for 2022. Ooh. Now we did add one extra for each of us.
Yeah.
A little higher end and a little higher, hard to find. But we wanted to mention top. We just wanted to bring them in.
Splurge. We call them our splurge for 2022.
So mine is 2XO, and which is short for 2 times oak. So it's a double oak product, and it is produced by in this case the blender Dixon Deadman, and it's put up by a company based in Louisville, but it's Prestige Beverage Group, and they're basically a holding company that owns several brands, and Dixon is working with them. I don't know what the specific capacity, if they're going to own his brand, if they're going to develop a brand with him, if they're just giving him some seed money, being a silent partner. I don't know yet, but right now this version is their Phoenix blend. It's his first release, and it's a 104 proof.
Show the bottom.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
I think it did.
I don't know if you did.
If I didn't, here it is now.
If you did, it's the second time around.
Yeah. And this is about $100. Right now it's kind of hard to find because it's somewhat limited release. I don't know that there's a big production run of it. And
we got ours in Kentucky, and we actually got another bottle in northern Indiana, like because near Chicago.
Yeah, we saw a box, so we grabbed a couple out of it.
Yeah, it's good.
and paid and left.
Yeah. And Dixon Deadman is no stranger to bourbon. He's from the family. It's a part of the Kentucky Owl.
Yep.
So
he was the, I believe, the
son
of one of the people that started that. But I think he was also a distiller, master distiller at Kentucky Owl. Double check that.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, what's yours?
So my splurge. So if anybody's gone down to Louisville or Lexington, I guess for that matter, and you have heard of a place called Justin's House of Bourbon. So a word of caution. Like, he has a lot of bourbons that you can try for like $10-$20, you know, and which is great.
It's like a trial bar.
Yeah, I mean, it had a lot. I mean, even on, I think he had Pappy's and some Wellers and all that stuff. Those were a little more expensive, but they weren't like $200 pour kind of things, you know. But anyway, it's technically a liquor store, but I think his shtick is buying other people's collections, you know, and so he has some really.
So any of the rare, hard to find bourbons he'll have.
Yeah, but you'll pay for it. You're paid for it, you know. So, but when we went in there this year and we tried we tried a bourbon for $10, and we were like, "What is this stuff?" You know. But anyway, my splurge, as a result of trying that, and it was yummy. Make sure I don't knock it over. Was a blended barrel finished bourbon whiskey. I always do this on ice cream.
That way, yeah.
Called Four Gate. Yep.
And it's number.
Hold on, let me read it to you. It is part of the series called the Bluegrass Trilogy #2, and we.
3.
No.
3 of them. Trilogy.
Oh, get
we
you.
have number 2. We actually have 1, 2, and 3, but the first one we got was number 2.
Yeah, and he had 1, 2, and 3, I believe, there too. But we tried number 2. We had to buy number 2.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know. We're like, we must have been crazy. But this one was and still is consistently $199.
Yeah. And
so
that's, you can generally find that in almost any of your better liquor stores. Mm-hmm. It'll be on the top shelf, but it'll almost always be around $200.
Yeah, but that was definitely a splurge, and we have the series, and I mean, again, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know how many yet they have, but when you start joining those social media groups that talk about Four Gate, you get super excited, and I guess you'll have that with any like brand or just of distillery or whatever. Like, it's a big old crazy, you know, I want to say wild turkey craze, you know. So, but anyway, you know, it's just kind of fun. Trying these different bourbons has been a lot of fun for us. But not only that, it's been very tasty, and I don't know. We're giving you some of the background information about who they are, what they do, and who these people are. And I mean, you don't have to like get into all that stuff if you don't want to, but we find that kind of entertaining.
Yeah, we like the backstories. We like the history. We like the distillery grounds. You know, we like that entire story of it. You know, not just the taste of the alcohol. You know, we like everything about it, and that's what's. You know, you gotta have a hobby.
Yeah.
And a tasty hobby is a good one.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah. So anyway, that's our top 5 from both of us. I mean, clearly a lot of the stuff that I liked, he likes too, and vice versa. Oh, yeah. But we just thought we'd just share kind of some interesting things that we had this year, and a couple of splurges that we had. And again, any of those, we can, I guess, link down all the different names of these.
Yeah, we'll write down in the descriptions this list and their websites.
Yeah.
And if we have any videos on them, I'll link to them as well.
Yeah. But other than that, you guys, I guess the moral of the story is, I don't know, drink bourbon.
Bourbon is yummy.
Bourbon is yummy. Anyway.
Drink what you like, how you like it, and enjoy it. And enjoy it with a friend.
Yep.
And hopefully enjoy it with more than just one friend.
Yeah.
Enjoy it one way or the other.
Yep. So here's to 2023. So we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wait. Cut. Okay. Good job, buddy.
All right.
Good job.